India was and still is home to one of the oldest cultures and religions on the planet. Jesus went there to study not only Hinduism, a religion older than Judaism and Moses, but also Buddhism, the great spiritual path founded by the Indian prince Siddhartha Gautama, known today as the Buddha. He reached India sometime in his 19th year, passing through what is now Afghanistan and Pakistan, stopping to stay with local tribes of Israelite descent along the way, their ancestors having fled to these areas after the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem in 587 BC, and going to the city of Puri, where, under the guidance of Brahmin priests, he studied the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita, two central texts in Hinduism. It is through the Brahmin priests that Jesus' belief in reincarnation was solidified, and he made it a point to teach it whenever he returned to Judea. The concept of reincarnation, not a foreign idea to the Jews, was not accepted by everyone, most notably the Sadducees, who controlled the temple in Jerusalem, who also rejected belief in the afterlife altogether, as well as the resurrection of the dead at the end of days. Jesus' reincarnation could explain why some people suffered in life while others prospered. It was all connected to how one lived previous lives. His own existence, he knew, could be understood by how he acted in his past lives, from Adam to the priest Jeshua. Indeed, the only reason he was in his current lifetime was because he, as Adam, had chosen to listen to Lucifer disguised as the serpent and eat the forbidden fruit alongside Eve. Bad actions in one life would be repaid, he believed, in the next life, and sometimes people went through hardships or suffering because of how they acted towards others in similar situations in other lifetimes. Jesus' understanding of karma would greatly influence his doctrine of being born again, and how he viewed John the Baptist, the reincarnation, as we have said previously, of Elijah the prophet. The next important theological philosophical realization Jesus came to studying with the Brahmin priests, and later with Buddhist monks, was the idea of forgiveness and loving even those who hate you. Hatred, he came to believe, did nothing but harm the person feeling it, not the hated person. Hatred eats at the soul, burning it internally and making its suffering miserable and angry. Much better, Jesus thought, to forgive those who wrong you or do horrible things. It allows you to move forward without any burdens and gives you a clean slate. Forgiveness does not mean, as some think, welcoming those who wronged you back into your life, but rather that you can let go of the hurt of the past, free your mind of any hostility or negative thoughts that would hold you down, and move on. Jesus spent 5 years studying in India, and it was here among the poor and sick that he first began healing regularly, becoming known for his miracles. To the Indians, he was known as Yesu, a form of Yeshua. Once he felt he absorbed all he could from the Hindu and Buddhist masters, Jesus set off again, this time to East Asia, heading for Japan. Landing on the island of Honshu, Jesus made his way inland, taking along an interpreter until he learned the language well enough to get by himself. He made his way to the mountain village of Shingo in what is now Aomori Prefecture, where he found a Shinto priest to teach him about Japan's national religion. The Takenouchi documents, ancient Japanese records, detailed Jesus' time there, recording that he eventually fell in love with a woman of Shingo named Miyuko and married her, settling down to start a family. Together with Miyuko, Jesus had 3 daughters and was known to the Japanese as Torai Tora de Tanko. Japan is also noteworthy in Jesus' life, as this is where he won his first disciple, his wife's younger brother, Isukiri, who became a devout Jew, converting to Jesus' version of Essene Judaism. For 5 years, the Nazarene lived in Shingo, learning from the priest and teaching Isukiri and working as a garlic farmer to provide for his family. Then, tragically, in 24 AD, when Jesus was 28, Miyuko passed away of illness, throwing his life upside down. Losing Miyuko forced Jesus to remember his life's calling, his true purpose as a prophet, and he had a choice to make. Either stay in Japan for the rest of his life or go back home and begin his mission. finally ready with all the knowledge he learned over his years of study. He decided to go back, but before he did, he placed his daughters with their maternal relatives as taking small children on the journey he was about to undertake. Would have been foolish and dangerous. Even for adults it could be dangerous. Isukiri, devoting himself to Jesus and his movement, went with him, and together the two departed Japan and headed for the Middle East, where Jesus planned on beginning his career as a rabbi and prophet of God.